Welcome to the Public Works Committee meeting. My name is George Russell. I'm a member of the Public Works Committee and also a City Councilor from District 3, of course. We're awaiting the arrival of our chairperson, Kate Toomey. In her, we also have Councilor Jermaine, who is unable to be with us this evening, as our third member of our committee. Mayor Petty has appointed as a temporary person just so that we can get things going. Councilor Tony Economo, District 1 City Councilor, to join us temporarily while we await Councilor Toomey's arrival. The agenda before us has various different items that are on it. We're going to take them in the order that they are. First, hearings for streets to be made public. The first item, 1A, is High Ridge Road. Is there anyone here on High Ridge Road? Okay. If you have a ballot that you'd like to hand in to the clerk that you have not turned in as of yet or mailed in, you're welcome to give that to the city clerk. I failed to announce also the city clerk is here off to my right. Matt Labovites, Paul Musi, and Commissioner Moylan are all here from, and Joyce Lee, excuse me, are also here from the Department of Public Works. We'll be calling on them for their input during the meeting. Let's call for the, anything you would like to say on this, Mr. Musi?
Mr. Chairman, this is a piece of High Ridge Road that is private. It's in between two segments of the street that's public. There's no difficulties in us converting that to public. The estimated cost on this is $140 a foot. I don't know that the clerk hasn't given us a vote on this.
Through you to the chairman, the temporary chairman, on High Ridge Road, there are 10 abutting property owners to this section of private roadway. We've received ballots from 3 people. 2 are in favor and 1 is voting in opposition. So we would need to go to a second hearing after this evening's hearing.
Just to explain it to folks in the audience that under the regulations that we go through, if there is any opposition at all, it has to go to a second hearing. So if there are folks here that would like to be heard on this item, first of all, let's call and see if there's anyone that's in favor that would like to be heard. I'll be happy to have you come to the microphone and be heard. This is on High Ridge Road. In favor, if you'd like to say anything, if you'd like to just be... We need your name and your city of residence.
Can we ask questions?
You can ask questions if you come to the microphone and identify yourself. Sir, you could come to the microphone and give us your name and city of residence, and be happy to listen to you.
Paul Zengen, resident of 14 Hannah Road. I'm in between High Ridge Road and Hannah Road. And I have exactly the same number of footage on Hannah as on High Ridge. Hannah is public. It's all paved. High Ridge is not. I have about half of the property is on the dirt part.
I think, sure, the commissioner can correct me if I'm wrong, but you may be sent a bill for the improvement on the private street that's converted, but then later on you'll be able to apply for an abatement, and the abatement would eliminate the amount of frontage that you have. You can contact Mr. Musi at his office and he'll give you an exact number, but basically if you have frontage on an existing public street, you don't have to pay for that frontage again. So if you have 100 feet on the public street and you have 200 on the private street, then you get a bill for the 200 feet, but you'd actually only have to pay about 100 feet, just to explain it to people in general. Mr. Musi?
Yeah, this is where he has frontage on one street and then the backyard meets the other. He's at 100.13 feet, at least on one property line, so he's going to get virtually 100% abatement.
So probably won't be end up costing you anything.
Or very little.
Or very little, because
Probably,
you have more frontage.
or definitely.
0.13.
Again, if you want
Through the chair, there will be a small amount. You have 100.13 feet of depth to your lot. We can abate all but the 0.13. So whatever your assessment is, $140 by your frontage, that would be multiplied by 0.13. So it will be a relatively small amount in that range. So that's what you would end up paying.
Okay. Now, I did have...
That's what you would have to file an abatement, and you would be eligible for an abatement of that amount.
True. But is that the distance from High Ridge Road to Hannah Road, right to the edge of the sidewalk?
It's what we are looking at are the city plans would have to be confirmed against your deed, but I believe these to be very accurate, and so it is the depth of your lot from High Ridge to Hannah.
Okay. Now, I did have it surveyed, and it doesn't. My property ends somewhere inside that line.
Sir, I would suggest that you contact Mr. Moosey's office. This has got some opposition here anyway, so it's going to have to go to another hearing. So instead of going over the fine points before the next hearing, if you just contact the DPW staff, they'll be able to give you more of an exact amount without tying up the whole meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Who else would like to be heard on this? Could you come forward, please? If there's anyone else who would like to be heard on this, if you could come to the rail and be ready to be next in line, I'd appreciate it, just so we can try and move the meeting along so that we can all be done with the
Hi.
process. Thank you.
Amy Friend,
And your city of residence, please.
Worcester.
Thank you.
1 Blair Street and High Ridge Road. I just wanted to know when it would be expected to be started if it is approved.
Mr. Moosey?
Our estimate now would be 2015.
And how long of a project would it be?
This is a short distance. This is something that would be a couple of months from start to finish.
And do they resurface the rest of High Ridge Road when they do that?
No, that would be a separate item that would have to be selected by council.
Would there be sidewalks put in on both sides of the street?
No, there would not.
Any other questions?
Would our assessment go up in addition to the...
You mean your
Our
real
regular,
estate,
yeah.
real estate tax assessment? I think that's a question that should be directed to the city assessor. I know, just because I'm in the real estate business, that homes that are on a public street usually have more value, but whether the assessment would actually go up and how long it would take for that to happen would be a question you can direct to Mr. Ford and his staff.
Okay.
Okay? Anyone else who would like to be heard on this item on High Ridge Road?
And you can pay it over a
Yes,
certain number of years?
Mr. Moore, could you talk about the payment plan? Just that everyone that is here on a private street conversion should listen to this, because this applies to all private street conversions.
First of all, we have some pamphlets up here for anyone who is interested in more information about the conversion of private streets to public streets. And we also have at the back of the pamphlet what some of your payment options are. Certainly one that's attractive to most people is to take it out over a 20-year term, much like a mortgage. You would pay interest on that assessment over the 20 years of 5%, but you could pay it, you could apportion it over a 20-year term. So whatever your bill is, you can essentially divide it by 20, and that kind of gives you a sense of what your annual payment would be.
Okay.
And then also, if you sell the home or refinance it, you could always pay it off at that point
I
too.
would-
So it's
I
pretty
would
much
think
like
so.
it's like a second mortgage almost, a small second mortgage. Anyone else on High Ridge Road
Thank you.
that'd like to be heard? And sir, if you could come to the microphone, please. Identify yourself, please, as name and city of residence.
Hemant Pendharkar, City of Worcester. How do you calculate the footage? Is it the square footage or running
It's
running?
the linear footage. Sir.
Linear
So if
footage.
you have, it's just the amount of feet across the property, your frontage, actually.
As in the length of the road
The left side of your lot to the right side of
The
your
right side of
lot
the lot.
as it runs along the street.
and the width is basically
Not now.
predetermined by the city.
Right, does not matter.
How wide the street will be, that's just a standard thing. I encourage the city to take this up as quickly and I also want to encourage the residents to vote for this.
And what property do you represent, sir?
On 64 High Ridge Road.
And you're voting in favor of it, I presume?
Yes, I am.
All right. All right. Anyone else who'd like to be heard on High Ridge?
Anybody want to vote?
Well, we have to hold it for a second hearing if we have one opposition, so I just announce that we're going to hold it for a second meeting, and the residents will be notified when it comes up for the second meeting. Next item on the agenda is number 1B, Bella Vista Road. Same kind of issue. Anyone here that wants to be heard on it? Anyone in favor? Okay, so we just have a couple folks who are in opposition to. Have you turned in ballots? All right. If you'd like to come to the microphone, and in just a moment, I'm going to ask Mr. Musi if he'll give us a quick analysis of what this issue is.
Yeah, this is a relatively short piece of Bella Vista Road between Manhattan and just beyond Sierra, where Bella Vista is public. It's like 433 feet. Again, it's not a difficult conversion. It's something we would recommend for the improvement. It also intersects Sierra, which was scheduled to be built this year. It's something, again, we would recommend
How
approval
much
of.
money a foot?
This one would be 150. It's just a little bit more complicated than the other one in terms of pricing.
Okay. All right, thank you.
So our recommendation would be to approve.
First, identify yourself, and then
Sure.
if you have any questions or comments, we'd be happy to hear from you.
Yep, Stacy Hill. I live at the corner of Sierra and Bella Vista, 51 Bella Vista. I'm opposed. I think that we're looking at paving roads that are going to cause cut-throughs and a lot more traffic. It's going to require taking down a lot of trees along the edge of my property, which is going to affect the shade and the heating and the cooling. I also know from going through this with Sierra last year that it doesn't really matter if I'm in opposition because you're going to recommend it even if we all vote against it, according to what Mr. Lucy just said. So my big concern then is, as being on a corner lot where I'm going to get hit for Sierra already, whether I'm going to also get hit for Bella Vista.
Well, first of all, I just would stop you there for a moment because it's up to the Public Works Committee to take a vote on it, even though the folks that are in favor or against may influence our decision, and we'll take that under consideration. But
Right.
yet the committee, I've been only on this committee for a year and a half, and I voted against some items, I voted for some items. So don't take for granted it's going to go one way or the other. Now,
Well, except he did say we would recommend it.
He's going to recommend it, but
Yeah.
it's the decision of the Public Works Committee, and it'll go to a second hearing because we have some opposition, and at that hearing, the Public Works Committee will make that decision. Mr.
Okay.
Musi, if you could address your question and comment.
Yes. If I could, I just want to address our recommendation. DPW, as Commissioner Moylan has often said, private streets are the bane of our existence. These streets affect water quality, their maintenance problems, they're the vast majority of our complaints. So where it's possible, where there aren't engineering difficulties to build them, we're in favor of it. It's up to this committee to poll the abutters and make that decision. Getting to her question of being a corner lot, she will be assessed 87 feet when we actually construct Sierra Street, and she can get a abatement of 87 feet on Bella Vista. She has 102, so she will pay something on Bella Vista, but she'll get 87 of that 102 off.
So you'll be paying for the longer of the two sides virtually in the long run.
So is the
In the long run.
102 what my frontage is on Sierra, or the 102 is what I have on Bella Vista, but I'd only be paying for 87 of it?
Her frontage on Bella Vista, again, according to this plan, and we verify via the deeds later, is 102.87. Okay, and she has 87 on Sierra, which she will be billed for when Sierra is finished. So she'll get 87 feet off of the 102.
And again,
on the Bella Vista
and again, in between this hearing today and the future meeting, maybe you can touch base with the staff, and I'll give you an exact idea.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else who would like
Thank
to be
you.
heard on this? Name and residence, please, or
James
city of
Wall.
residence?
I live on Manhattan, 22 Manhattan Road. Kind of a unique situation. First of all, I am opposed. The plot that you have there, I believe, has us listed as 53 Bella Vista. When the house was built, it was cited by the builder on Manhattan. Our driveway is on Manhattan. I have at least 100-plus feet of footage on that, and we would have absolutely no use for that road. I think there's one house that's directly opposite us that's actually right in the middle of the dirt section. The other people at the top of the street, they back out of their driveway, take a right, they're on paved road. So to my opinion, I mean, we're going to get billed for a tremendous amount of money and see absolutely no benefit to us. Besides, as what Stacy said, we have a lot of tree line right there, and those trees provide a lot of shade. And I'm also concerned with people coming up Manhattan and using that as a nifty cut through to get down to the other part of the city, because that Tatnick Square gets clogged up quite a bit, and it makes an easy way to go around that to get over to Pleasant Street. So, have anything you want to add there?
Comment? Mr. Musi.
If I can, just to clarify this particular gentleman's case here, we do have him listed as 22 Manhattan.
Okay.
He has 87.05 feet, and he has 95 on Bella Vista. So that's going to leave him with a bill of 8 feet. So he'll pay 8 feet times the $150 a foot if this gets built. So he will not pay for a 95 foot.
Yeah, so we would get some of that from the Manhattan frontage.
Yeah. So he'll have to file for an abatement, but he'll pay a small assessment.
Right. So it'll be a very small bill.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And again, this is, we have opposition on this, so it's going to automatically go to the second hearing. Anyone else would like to be heard on this on Bella Vista Road? Hearing none, we'll move along to the the third item, excuse me, which is Bergen Lane. Number 1C, it's Bergen Lane. Mr. Clerk, how many folks are in favor and against this item?
Mr. Chairman, there are 18 abutting property owners. 6 have voted in favor, and 3 have voted in opposition.
Okay, so we do have opposition on this, so it's going to do the same thing with this. Is there anyone here on this item, Bergen Lane, that would like to be heard? Why don't we take those who are in favor first? Is there anyone in favor that would like to speak? Hearing none, then why don't we have all those who want to be heard on this come up to the rail, if you would, please, and then just be ready to come along. If you could identify yourself, name and city of residence, and tell us your concern.
Joseph Policelli, number 20 Bergen Lane, Worcester. And I just have a couple of questions. I understand as a private road, we own our frontage, but a halfway across. Now, as it'll show on the map, Bergen Lane runs...
the road.
Yeah.
Got legal.
Bergen Lane runs parallel to Mill Street, and the people on Mill Street therefore own the other side of the road. But are we expected to pay the entire cost?
Sir, your cost is figured on the frontage of your lot. So it doesn't, you would not, it's not a matter of, you wouldn't be charged any more than, it's just how wide your lot is on the front.
Okay.
Is how much they multiply it out at.
Okay.
If I can
Mr. Musi.
If I can interrupt, Mr. Chairman, if they're less than 200 feet from front to back, they're entitled to an abatement. Between 100 and 200 feet, it's a descending number. Now, these seem to average about 110 feet, so they can get about a 90% abatement on that side, the Mill Street side. Now, I don't have the frontages or the depths of every lot here, so it might vary a little bit, but I'm using the dimension I see here.
So when you have a lot that comes to a point, so to speak, it gets a little bit more of a discount on that end, too.
All right. No, it's 150 feet of frontage.
But the width, the depth of the lot, he's saying is going to affect the price that they're going to bill.
It's 160 feet on one side and 220 feet on the other side. So,
if you, just to be clear, what Mr. Musi has said is that on a normal lot, it would be only on the frontage, but he's saying that where the lot thins out and it's only shot, it comes out to like a point. In that area, you'll get a little bit of a discount.
Any parallel street, front to rear, if it's under 200 feet.
Why don't you explain it?
Mr. Chairman, let me take a crack at this.
Go ahead.
Everyone on the street, on either side of the street, will be subject to an assessment.
okay.
There are rules that govern who can get an abatement from that assessment. And the two principal rules are if you are on a corner lot with one side of that corner lot already on a public street,
Okay.
then you're eligible for an abatement. Similarly, if you are on a lot that has frontage on one street and a rear street to its back, and the distance between those two streets is less than 200 feet,
Okay.
which would be the case for those properties on Mill, between Mill and Bergen, they would be eligible for an abatement. So those folks would be eligible for an abatement because in theory, or in practice, when Mill Street was converted to a public street, those properties paid for the frontage on Mill Street.
Okay.
Therefore, they will be eligible for a partial abatement for the assessment that we would render them on Bergen.
Okay. Okay, but I'm on Mill Street, and the back of my property is Coe's Pond. Bergen Lane, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Understood. And so in your case, you would not be eligible for an
Okay,
abatement.
that answers the question.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
My name is Thomas Hurley. I live on Bergen Lane, number 4. I'm opposed. I've lived on the street my whole life, and I really don't see what suddenly they need to pave this street for. I know that parts of it are in bad condition, not so much that it's impassable for sure. I guess if I had any questions at all, if half of the residents were opposed and half were for, or in any number like that,
I can only speak for myself,
who makes
sir.
the final decision?
It's the planning board, excuse me, it's the Public Works Committee that makes the final decision, and I can only speak on myself being one of those votes. There are normally, for a regular meeting, there are 3 members of the Public Works Committee, and then what I take into consideration, I'm sure my colleagues do the same, is what public safety is first. If it's a public safety issue or an issue that's affecting other folks' enjoyment of their property as it, like runoff, or, you know, if there's other things that outweigh the factor of whether people want it or don't want it, and usually it's public safety or how it affects other people's properties, at least in my case, and then we make that.
Well, this may be an odd question, but I know of one portion, it's a small portion of the street that's troublesome for the residents there, and I certainly can sympathize with them about that. I've heard some discussion about some other streets that are public and then become private and then become public again. And that's not certainly a consideration in this instance or any instance, would it be?
When you have property, as one of the previous speakers mentioned, when you own property on a private street, excuse me, you own virtually to the center of the road. So it's your responsibility to upkeep that road. Some folks that are on private streets do a wonderful job at upkeep the road, and everybody gets along well, and the traffic goes through comfortably.
Would you
But
say
in
it's
some
fair to say that
cases,
that's
it's
not really public knowledge, though, that these residents that may think it's advantageous to have the city pave would
Mr.
be
Moore,
better
would
off
you like to
maintaining it
address that?
on their own?
Could you repeat your question, please?
He was saying that on a private street that a resident essentially owns to the middle of that roadway and is therefore responsible for its upkeep. Do you think it's fair to say that
Well, I
the
think
citizenry in this city knows that? Because I didn't know that, and
That's why
I've
I
lived on
called
the
on
street
Mr.
for
That's
30.
why I called on Mr. Boyle.
Anyone on a private street who does any kind of inquiry on a private street understands that there are very limited options that they have available to them if they want to improve the condition of the street. Option number 1 is they can band together with other abutters and they can improve the street. They always run the risk, however, of directing drainage onto an abutting property and ending up in some sort of legal trouble because of it. But when they do it, they need to understand also that they aren't curing the fundamental problems that are creating the potholes on the street. So it's a temporary solution. If they want the city to get involved, then the city only has 2 programs available. We have a program that's called the Betterment Program. We have another program that's called Private Street Conversion. We typically talk about the Private Street Conversion Program. It is the better of the 2 programs. It is the more expensive, but it's also the one that gives you the better ability to afford it because you can space it out over 20 years as opposed to the other program. So in essence, when you come down to it, there are two alternatives. You and your neighbors, a temporary solution that won't solve the problem, or the more complete solution, which is conversion, and then the city has maintenance responsibilities for that street in perpetuity.
Does the city already plows the street? They pick up trash. We have sewer and water. So why didn't they pave it when they did all that?
Because paving is a betterment. We plow it and we pick up trash by virtue of special legislation that allows the city to expend public dollars on a private street. The city has no responsibility on this private street. So if there were, again, a pothole, we don't have the authority to go up there and repair the street. It's only by special legislation that it was voted that public funds could be expended on essentially private property. In some communities, they don't plow private streets. This community, we do. We don't treat them any differently during the winter than a public street. We collect trash on them. But what we won't do is any form of pavement maintenance. That is up to the collective abutters on the street.
Okay.
And just to answer your question also, this is not something that the current city council or anybody even probably that's even alive today made a decision on. It's years ago when they subdivided the lots. They did it with, for whatever reason, they did it generations ago. Some streets they put only on paper and they were built out as they went along. And it's basically the Public Works Department and the city government now is faced with the trying to back up, if you will, and make good for that. And I think, you know, if I could put my real estate hat on, again, I would remind you that when you buy a house on a public street that's paved and a person looks at it and they say, gee, I'm going to have the city of Worcester always maintain that property, it has a little extra value. So that's hence where this all comes from.
Like the young lady mentioned earlier, though, it also has a cost in a future real estate increase in my taxes.
Right, and that's because it adds to the value. So I would presume, but that's only our guess, that the assessor is the one who figured that out.
One last question to the gentleman that was calling out the figures.
Mr. Musi?
Is there a figure involved with this project yet?
Musi?
Yes, I'm sorry if I didn't give that figure earlier. This one is $140.
$140 a foot.
A linear foot. Across your frontage. Thank you, sir.
And where do you come by the 5% interest on the loan for the 20-year?
I believe that the legislation ties the interest rate to the same interest rates that are charged for other betterments and for tax liens. So it's governed by law.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Can I give my ballot?
Sure, please. Mr. Clerk, could you take this ballot? Miss, if you'd like to be heard?
Yep.
Sure, if you...
Michelle, 302 Mill Street. Driveway is on Virgin Lane.
Okay.
In favor of the paving. Part of the problem with Virgin Lane is the drainage. Is this included, or is this just pavement?
Mr. Bosi?
No, a private street conversion is a complete job, and really the most important part of it is drain lines and catch basins will be installed at appropriate intervals so the street will drain properly and not affect the abutters.
Okay. And my other question is, if you own multiple lots, do you have more than one vote, or is it just one vote for the...
Mr. Clerk, could you answer that question? It's a good one.
I'll stand corrected unless there's a change in law. Multiple lots, you get one vote per lot. However, sometimes property owners thinking about whether their deed is divided up into several lots is different. So engineering would ultimately make that decision in the billing cycle. Many years gone by, the city was divided up by assessors' maps into very small parcels with a minimum amount of frontage, and then over the years, as a property was built upon with a single-family home, then the smaller lots were grouped together. So depending on the age of the map that you're referring to, you could have a large parcel that is divided up into smaller ones, or you could have that all collated into one.
So is it fair to say that
If the property is built on.
if you get one tax bill, if you get two tax bills, you probably get 2 votes?
That's a good assumption. Again, it's not fail-safe, but it is a good assumption.
Okay. And where Virgin Lane is on Coes Pond, basically, I'm wondering, would this fall into the category of MS4 law, where storm drainage needs to be taken into account by 2014?
Good thing Mr. Moosey's here today, huh? Because I keep calling
Yes.
on him.
One of the overall benefits, the city's whole drainage system, comes under an MS4 permit. One of the advantages, from our point of view, of paving a street like this is we're going to take essentially runoff that's silt-laden from this street that eventually makes its way to Coes Pond, get it into catch basins with sumps, and get clean water in there. And these are the kind of things that actually improve water quality in abutting receiving waters.
Okay.
So it will fall under our permit.
So would that give more weight to approving this project?
Well, again, the final decision will be made by the Public Works Committee at a future meeting. You'll be notified of that meeting, and because there is opposition, it'll be held to that second hearing.
Okay.
And then the committee will make the decision at that time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to be heard on Virgin Lane? Hearing none, we'll move on to our item number 2, the second hearings. On Spalding Street, Mr. Clerk, how many do we have in favor and how many do we have against?
Mr. Chairman, thank you for this second hearing on Spalding Street. There's a total of 7 abutting property owners. We've received ballots from 4, 3 are in favor, and 1 is in opposition.
Okay. Anyone that's here that would like to be heard on Spalding Street? Let's see, if there anyone in favor of Spalding Street? Okay. Sir, are you in favor?
I am.
Okay, why don't you come to the microphone then, and the other folks that want to be heard, if you could come up to the rail and be ready to come right behind him. Sir, your name and
Richard Salmon,
city of residence.
and my residence is West Newton, Massachusetts. I own a house on the corner of Level and Spalding, and my couple of questions I had today was, since the front of the building is on Level Street and the other part is on Spalding, how much of it is taken by the city when it does the new street?
Mr. Moosey?
The conversion of a private street to public does not take any private property. All the work will be done within the existing right-of-way of the private street. There are no takings involved in any of these projects.
Okay.
So wherever your legal property line is now is where it'll be at.
Okay. And the second question, Mr. Moosey, would be, sir, if the front part of it's on Level Street and the other part is on Spalding, is there a rebate factor or anything else that there is automatically?
Mr. Moosey?
Yes, I'm not sure exactly which address yours was.
76, sir, on the corner, right on the, it's a
Okay,
corner
you're
lot.
at 76, and you have, again, according to the plan in front of me, 105 feet on Spalding Street and 50 feet on Level, so you're entitled to a 50-foot abatement, which essentially cuts your bill in half.
Okay.
You'll be paying for 55 feet.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, if you have a ballot that you'd like to
I never got one at
you
all.
might want to have a conversation with the clerk off to the side.
Initial this right here.
Sure.
You're right. After in favor, O for opposition.
There you go. All set.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.
Miss, if you'd like to identify yourself, please, and
Blanca Laza, 144 Beaverbrook Parkway, and I'm in favor, and the reason why I'm in favor is because it's a safety issue. The street has never been paved. The drainage is also a big issue. We end up with big puddles at the end of the street. Yeah, so I'm in favor.
okay.
My last question would be is when this gets approved, if it gets approved, would there also
When
be
is it going to happen, right?
Huh?
When is it actually going to happen?
When is it actually going to happen?
Probably a while.
Our estimate right now for getting a street actually constructed that is approved tonight would probably be at the earliest 2015. And that's based on what we typically get per year in funding and what we see as our current backlog of streets that have been approved.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. That's not bad. A few years ago, it was like 5
So if you'd like to,
My name is Barbara Ingwall, and I live at 22 Vincent Ave, which is in the Columbus Park area. I belong to the St. Andrew's Church, which is on Spalding Street, and I belong to the advisory board, which is at the Columbus Park School. Both of those places are places where people go. They walk up and down the street. They drive on that street. It is a horrendous street. It's almost got cavities in it where you lose your car as you ride down the street. During church services, Saturday we have a Mass there at 4 o'clock, and we have a Mass at 11 o'clock on Sunday. A number of people who go to church are usually elderly. We don't have a lot of young kids running in. We have a lot of older people walking in with canes and crutches and whatever else. It is very difficult to get out of your car, walk to the church, and get in from your car to the church because the street is so bad. So I just want to bring that to your attention as a safety issue. We had a meeting in November of all the residents on that street, all 7. We had, I think, 6 showed up. Bill Eddy was there, our counselor. We talked about everything. Father Monsignor Skolin was there from St. Peter's Church because he is affiliated with St. Andrews. So we had a very nice meeting of a lot of people who were involved with the street. And the consensus was basically, yes, let's get it going. So the sewers are already in it. It's really ready to be paved. We would like to have it paved as soon as possible. When I heard 2015, I said, ugh, I hope we can get that done sooner. So if there's a supplemental budget or something that we can put this street on, we would truly appreciate it in Columbus Park, St. Andrews, and Columbus Park School. We will all appreciate that.
thank you very much for coming. Anyone else who would like to be heard on Spalding Street?
Can I just say one thing?
Mr. Musi.
Mr. Chairman, one thing I want to just bring to everyone's attention and remind them of, when we had a first hearing on this, the abutters asked about getting a sidewalk that we typically do not do. So we said we'd look at the feasibility of a sidewalk, and we can put a sidewalk in, and the request was on the church side.
Can or cannot?
We can. So our plan is to put a sidewalk in, and that added to the assessment. So the assessment, including the sidewalk, would be 160.
160 a linear foot because of the sidewalk. Okay.
So I wanted to report on that because that was a request at the last meeting.
Okay. So your proposal today includes that sidewalk?
Yeah, unless they say they want to take it out.
All right. I entertain a motion to approve. So moved. Although, aye. So it's unanimous. It's approved. We're going to move to Woodhaven Lane, number 2B. Woodhaven Lane. Anyone here on that item? Anybody here on that? Okay. Motion to approve. Aye. So moved. Okay. Yeah. What item is it, Mr. Moylan?
It's a discussion item at the end.
Okay. Sure. Well, let's go to item 3A first. The petition of Veronica Bello requests Wall Street also be named, and this is something we had before, and it was held. What's our recommendation on this?
Through the chair, I've had many discussions with Veronica Bello about this item, and while we certainly understand the sentiment of where this is coming, the concern is, and this concern was raised at with the previous committee chair, not the current chair, the previous chair. The idea of naming a street in an honorary as an honorary street for someone is, it's a great idea. It's a noble idea. The concern we have, and the concern that I would raise with the committee, is that there are streets across the city where people of notoriety have come, and we could envision someone objecting to a street being named after a certain person,
Yep.
as opposed to another person. So this may not be a good example of where that could manifest, but you could take a street like Shrewsbury Street, which is the example I use, and there are any number of people who could think that Shrewsbury Street could have an honorary designation.
Funny you use that as an example, because the first thing that came to my mind was Leo Toro Way.
Exactly.
Which I think is a great precedent to include.
So what we have come up with as an alternative is is a method of putting within the sidewalk area some demarcation, some memorial, a plaque. We haven't worked out all the details. It could be a bronze plaque. It could be placed at the beginning of the sidewalk. It could be, for instance, at the intersection of Grafton and Wall. It could be in front of the old original El Morocco. But it could be, wouldn't be a stone monument, because this would ultimately end up being paid for by the petitioners, whomever wanted it. And we could put on it almost any kind of wording that would be appropriate to designate and commemorate the person and their contribution to that particular neighborhood. And it would leave room in case that there is someone else on that street that also thinks that they deserve to be recognized, and as opposed to, if we do with follow the honorary street option, we only have that one person that can be on the honorary street. So that's what we would recommend.
I thought when we had this before us before, I remember it was on the agenda a few months ago. I thought what we had left it as saying, going to the Public Works Department for a recommendation to try to see if there was a square maybe that could be named as an honorary square for Joe Abudi, I thought that's where we had left it. Was there any thought brought into that?
Well, we have to be careful that we don't get anything that's too close to a veteran square.
Right.
We need to understand that we can't go to that point. And our thought was, again, this is going to be somewhat precedent setting. It's not, it's not going to be the one and only case. There is no doubt that we'll have additional cases. And we also thought about the fact that whomever the petitioners are, we wanted to keep the costs reasonable, because this will be a cost borne by them and not by the city. We will simply give them permission to install the plaque within the city, within the sidewalk.
Okay. Well, Ms. Bell, if you'd like to be heard, you can come to the microphone. Identify yourself, please, name and
My name is
address.
Veronica Bello.
Your city of residence?
126 Kendig Street, Worcester, Mass. I've been after this petition, and it's not only me. There's a lot of people behind me. There are now 2 petitions out being signed that people have in their care that are going after anything to get this recognized. Everyone I speak to, and I know Mr. Moylan too, I have some of the best names here in the city that agree something should have been named after this family a long time ago for what they brought into the city. And there's not even a question if there's money to be brought up about it. There's plenty of people that will donate money for this. So
Ms. Bell, I can't agree with you more myself.
Right.
Okay? But what I would suggest we do is we hold this item to the next meeting, and that in the meantime, between now and then, that maybe you and maybe Mr. Musi or one of his staff could actually try to zero in on specifically where you want this plaque to be placed, at exactly what location, what the cost would be involved, and then they can come back and report it to us, and then maybe the committee can make
Right.
a vote on it.
And like
Because
I
we
said,
can't change the whole street.
no,
That's not
but I've
something
talked
we
to
can do.
restaurant owners who have signed this petition
I'm sure
that
there'll be
said
plenty of
that
support
their
for it.
restaurants there'll never be another one like this. It should have been recognized a long time ago. And they name crazy streets, they name anything with, this is ridiculous.
I understand, and I appreciate your concern and your advocacy, but let's just do that. I
Okay.
suggest we'll hold it to the next meeting agenda, if you can remember, Mr. Clerk, to put it on the agenda next time around. And then, in the meantime, maybe we can get some specifics.
Okay.
As far as what, okay, thank you.
Very good.
Our next item is the only item that Councilor Economo actually came on this evening, and here he is, being our member of the committee. But the number 3B, a petition of Sherry Olson Lusati and others, a request replacement of a field culvert and drain system running under and through Rollingwood, Knollwood Drive, and a property located at 3 Rollingwood. Councilor Economo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know the petitioner's here, and I just really want to make sure that this is on track. If you have timelines, schedules of start, finish, work to be started on, what have you. Please.
If I can, through the chair, we actually started work on this project today.
Excellent.
The tree cutting that is the beginning of the replacement of the culvert started today. The commissioner did send up a report on this to council. That work will on-go from today. I suspect it will take no more than 2 months, probably a month and a half, and the culvert will be complete. The landscaping that's being removed now will be replaced, and then sometime later in the season, probably in the fall, Knollwood Street, which has been held, it's been selected for paving, will be repaved, along with the intersection that will be disturbed for the installation of this culvert.
Anyone else who would like to be heard on this item?
If they would.
You could come to the microphone, please, and identify yourself and your city or town of residence.
I'm Suzanne Blatt, 6 Knollwood Drive, and Sherry Lusardi is here with me, as well as my husband. I just want to say thank you.
That was easy.
Appreciate your hard work on this, and I did hear the sound of the trees coming down this morning, and I know this is going to be a project that will take some time, and I look forward to a really nicely paved public street. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the kind words, and your counselor here is the one that deserves to thank you. Thank you. What's pleasure is to motion to approve.
Motion
All
to
those in
approve,
favor?
yes. Aye.
Opposed, so voted. 3C is a petition of Mayor Joe Petty and Councilor Phil Palmieri on behalf of Heather Morello. Request the installation of guardrails along the westerly side of Plantation Street from 235 to 247 in the interest of pedestrian safety. Anyone that's here would like to be heard on this? I see Heather is here. If you could come to the microphone and identify yourself, even though I recognize you, I'm sure
Hi.
everyone
My
listening
name
or
is
watching
Heather
us
Morello.
on TV does not.
My name is Heather Morello, and I do live on Plantation Street, where I am requesting the guardrails to be installed. Part of the problem over the past few years is there's been accidents, a lot of accidents. We've lived there, my husband, my family, we've lived there for 24 years. And in that time, there's been, well, in the past few years, there's been 3 accidents. One accident occurred about 6 years ago. We used to have a wood box around the trees in the front yard. A driver came up the hill, and because of the way the road curves, he came up straight over the curb, and he smashed straight into the wood box. He got himself stuck there and got out of the car and took off on foot, left the evidence behind. And 2 years ago, an elderly couple was driving up the street, drove right up straight over the sidewalk, smashed into my husband's car. Perfectly good weather, both those times.
Yep.
The most recent time was in February. It was the day after the Super Bowl, and it was 4 in the morning. We heard this horrific crash out front, looked out the window. My daughter's car was facing the house when she had parked it there. When we looked out the window, the car had been spun around almost 180 degrees facing Plantation Street. The driver took off. Her car was 6 months old. She'd just paid $13,000 for it, and it was totaled. We've had motorcycles hit the curb, fall off, you know, the bikes, roll across the front lawn. You know, I have a few aerial photos.
I think we have them here, too. We have
yeah,
an aerial
and
shot.
it shows how the street goes up, and then it pitches to the left.
I think we're all familiar with it. It's right behind the old fire barn.
It's tough. It's tough. And, you know, you've got schools in the area. You've got a park up the street, park around the corner on Harrington Way as well. And there's a lot of foot traffic there.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else who would like to be heard on this item? Mr. Moylan, what is this is the first time I've seen one of those as a member of this committee, so could you explain to us who would pay for this, if it's something you're recommending, why you'd recommend it, why you wouldn't?
Chairman, what we would recommend here is an amendment, I guess, to the petition, because the petition talks about a guardrail not only in front of this particular person's property, but extending up the street in front of other people's property. And that is something that before we were to do that, if that is to be a consideration, then I would suggest to you that you invite those other neighbors to make sure that they're accepting of a guardrail in front of their property. You're familiar with this neighborhood. I'm familiar with the neighborhood.
Do they have room in the right-of-way for a guardrail? That's the other question.
There would be room for a guardrail, so I think we've got two options. You either hold the item and you invite the abutters to make sure that if this petition were approved as written, that they would be accepting of a guardrail in front of their property, or you simply amend the petition to just have a guardrail placed in front of this person's property only.
Makes sense. Heather, if you'd like to respond to that.
Actually, yes, please. Actually, it does say on that the westerly side of Plantation Street from 235 to 245, that's actually two houses. There's not, the way the numbering goes, it's not like there's 7 houses. It's actually 2 houses. Those, they're brand new houses that were recently put in, and I think that's part of the problem, because before those houses were put in, there was an older building there, and it actually was on the sidewalk, part of it. So when people come up the street, you have a building there on the sidewalk. When those buildings came down, they put in all new houses. So a lot of this problem has happened. I have photos too as well. The 3 telephone poles that lead up to my house and the 3 telephone poles after my house have all been hit.
Mr. Chairman, what we would recommend is that we hold this item to confirm the distance, because the information that the petitioner is presenting is a little bit different than the information we have. So what I would suggest is you hold the item, and we can give you the footage, because whenever we do these, we not only make a recommendation to approve or to disapprove, but we also tell you what the cost is.
Okay.
Okay? So in order to tell you what the cost is, we'll need to know what...
Borne by the...
by the city.
By the city, okay.
In order for us to tell you what the cost is, we'll need to know what the footage is. So let us hold it, and we can take it up at the next meeting, and then we'll be able to make a recommendation with a cost associated with it.
I'll add to that, too. I would agree with you that the abutters, if there's just one more abutter,
they just moved in, so
they should be notified.
That's another issue, too. They just moved in, so they're probably not aware of the
My
issues.
suggestion is that you we'll put it on for the next agenda for the next Public Works Committee meeting. But in the meantime, maybe touch base with Mr. Musi and his staff to get some specifics, and maybe the clerk can make sure that all the abutters, the current assessed abutters, are notified.
If you'd be kind enough, Ms. Morello, to call me and provide me with whatever information you have for that new resident, I'd appreciate it, so that we can make sure everybody who might be affected is notified, okay?
Okay.
Sure, the
Thank you.
assessor has that information, too. Yeah, why don't we, we're going to move along to, because we know there are many folks here on this item, under number 7B, the analysis of the preliminary design for the Brightwood Ave flood storage system. I know Mike Testa, the president of the Grafton Hill Neighborhood Association, was here but was not able to stay and had expressed some interest in this, too.
Mr. Chairman, while our consultants from CDM Smith are setting up, as you and I had a discussion yesterday at the council meeting, you inquired about this. As you know, this was part of the solution to reduce the frequency and severity of flooding in the Brightwood Ave area. And the original recommendation that came, that was submitted based on our analysis, was going to have a price tag over $4 million. And really the number of properties that would be affected by that solution were minimal. There were 2, in fact. And then there were some vacant properties. So we looked at the alternatives, and we came up with a less costly and equally effective solution. And that one involved taking the 2 properties, taking some other vacant parcels, and also for an overall benefit to provide a detention basin. And when we offered that up, of course the neighbors were interested in knowing what it would look like and how it would fit into the neighborhood. And we said, when we are at that point, we will come back and make a presentation so that everyone can see what is being proposed. And so here we are tonight to make that presentation.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Moylan. First of all, the residents that are here on this issue, can everyone see that plan? If you can't, try to move accordingly to, I want to make sure they're able to see it. Could you identify yourself, your name and city of residence, and give us a brief overview of what you have planned?
Hi, I'm Jenny Roach from CDM Smith in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And so what I'm going to do is just explain a little about, basically come up from 10,000 feet and go down to this flood storage system that we're proposing. So here we have on this map the Brightwood Avenue, Firth Street neighborhood at about that location of that blue rectangle that you see there. Yeah, can you see that too?
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay? Okay. And what this red line is the drainage area down to that point. So this is located off Sunderland Road, and basically this whole 170-acre area drains down to that point.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Oh, wait just a minute. I'm going to let her make her presentation, then you can come to the microphone in an orderly fashion and ask questions. Go ahead, continue. Say that again.
He was asking to see it, not asking.
You're having trouble seeing it?
Yes.
Okay, you twist it around a little bit then, please?
How's that?
Thank you. Excuse me.
Okay, so these blue lines are the pipes that go down into there. Then, so the proposed plan is to put a subsurface flood storage area down at this point. So let's see what that looks like closer up. Okay, here is a plan of the neighborhood. The properties that Bob talked about are in this location, and they have been purchased and raised. And the vision is to have an open area. Basically, we looked at a few different alternatives. One was an open basin, and another was a subsurface storage area with cover over it, so it would just be an open field like you see here, and some mixtures of both. And the decision was to do this subsurface system because it would fit in better with the neighborhood, more aesthetically pleasing. You don't want an open basin in the neighborhood, probably. And it also could control a larger storm event, and it'd be less disruption to the neighborhood than some of the other alternatives.
So just to be clear, what you're basically proposing is to have, when the project is complete, it will not be visible at all from the street level.
Exactly.
It'll all be underground.
Exactly, all underground. I'll show you what that underground looks like.
And what will be on top of it?
The vision is basically just a wildflower type field. And it's up for discussion exactly what we do put in that. We're in the final design phases of this. We've drawn here some hedges along the property lines. There are houses here and here with some open views into it, but it would basically be, here's Brightwood Avenue, here's Firth Street. It would be an open field to the street.
Will it be fairly level?
Yes, it will be graded as it is now.
Oh,
Sorry I'm late.
That's okay, I'm sure Councilor Economo is happy you've arrived because he was running late.
Well, thank you, and I
Continue.
appreciate that things happen with cars and things like that, so thank you.
Okay. So that's the design plan with that field photoshopped over it. Let's take a look at it below ground. Okay. What we're putting below ground are these concrete structures. They're called storm traps, and basically the drainage system will keep filling up as the rain falls, and then once the pipes get to capacity in the street, there'll be a weir and flow will go over into these subsurface tanks, essentially, and fill it up, and then that's going to significantly reduce the flooding in the neighborhood. And then the flow won't just sit there. It's been designed so that it holds it back during the storm and then slowly lets it out to the drainage system after the storm. So you can see the concrete tanks here, and then this is just a section of what it looks like. And then in the end, this is just an aerial of the whole neighborhood. That's a view of, up from a plane, the houses, and then the field.
Since Councilor Toomey is our chairperson, I'm going to ask her to continue the meeting.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate it. Again, I apologize for being late. All right, so what about landscaping after the fact?
Yes, so we're planning on putting basically an open field, wildflower type fields, low maintenance, and hedges around the property lines.
Who's going to maintain the hedges?
It will be the city's responsibility.
Oh, okay. What type of hedges are we talking about, do we know?
We haven't gotten that far.
Right.
Okay. Low maintenance? Okay.
We're going low maintenance.
Madam Chairman, my concern is just basically when you talk about wildflower lot, I mean, it sounds so pretty and nice, but I don't want to see an overgrown, weeded lot
Sure.
when we're done, pretty much. That's my own personal opinion. But, I mean, is there anything that can be done to dress it up in a fashion that would not require a lot of maintenance?
Through the chair, that's why I think we're looking at the wildflower option such that it is relatively low maintenance. Let's go back to the beginning here that the original suggestion of the $4 million solution was not going to be a cost-effective solution. The next was a storage basin of some type, and clearly we nor the neighbors would want to have seen an open basin with a cyclone fence going around it. So we have a commitment to the neighborhood to make sure that this does not get overgrown, and we believe that the wildflower option satisfies that. It will look aesthetically pleasing, and it will be low maintenance. We certainly don't want to have a lawn there that needs to be mowed every week. So this option appears to be a reasonable option.
I think, Madam Chairman, if I may, is that one thing that makes me happy about it is that it won't be standing water, because I know in other parts of the city where you have standing water in a retention or detention ponds, you've got mosquitoes and frogs and all kinds of other issues, and I'm really happy to see that this is not including that, but I'm interested to see what the neighbors have to say, Madam Chairman.
Yeah, and actually I'm sitting here thinking, where it's open space, is it possible to create a very low maintenance pocket park where people could actually enjoy the green space?
I don't think we don't want people on top there per se. We just want it to be visually attractive. We don't want it to be a nuisance or
trees, Commissioner.
No, we don't want trees on top of it either.
Because they grow into
we
the
don't want
cement?
trees on
Okay.
top of it.
Okay.
The tree roots will seek out the water that's contained within.
Okay, I get it. Okay. All right, yep. So why don't we take public comment right now? Please come to the podium, state your name and city or town of residence. Don't rush all at once. And we're not going to bite.
Good evening. My name is Sandy Pizarski. I'm at 12 Brightwood Avenue. And My dad built our house almost 60 years ago, and it wasn't until the city redirected water from other areas when we started getting flooding in our cellar, in our houses on Brightwood Avenue, and that major storm we had in October a few years ago. I mean, many of us had 3 and 4 feet of water in our cellars, and we never had water like that before. And like I said, I mean, we've lived there forever. And I'm just hoping that your system here that you're designing is, you're talking about these underground tanks. I'm just hoping that this is going to be adequate, because I know for a fact those of us that have had flooded basements, we certainly don't want to be dealing with this again. I mean, the last storms that we had with all the water, I know I was a nervous wreck for a couple of days worrying about the cellar. And
Sure. Commissioner, do you want to respond?
I do. First of all, the October 07 storm was an extraordinary event. I forgot the actual statistics, but it was something like 11 inches of rain or 14 inches of rain over 11 days. And there were problems not only in this neighborhood, there were problems throughout the city. And in terms of a severity, again, going from memory, it was in excess of a 100-year event. What we were looking at to solve with this solution here are some subsequent storms that occurred that caused flooding in this area after the October 07 event. Every drainage system has a finite capacity. So when you get an extraordinary event that comes along, folks everywhere, anywhere, could be flooded depending upon the severity of the event. What this recommendation will provide is the same safety factor that you would have had with the $4 million solution of big pipes going to Broadmeadow Brook. So this gives you the same level of safeguard as the original solution that we offered up a number of years ago.
the only other question I had in that was, you talked about, you know, the water goes into these tanks and then it slowly goes somewhere. I know a couple of times when we've had floodings, the water was going somewhere, and that was down in Broadmeadow Brook somewhere, and the problem of it was those huge pipes were clogged. And if it's going in that same place again, what kind of guarantee are we going to have that those pipes are going to be free and that water's going to go where it needs to go?
Okay, well, first of all, somewhere where it's going is back into the drainage system after the storm, after it's been held back, when there's more capacity in the drain.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, in terms of, the city has been cleaning the system, and, you know, that's a maintenance issue that the city's working on keeping up with. But the idea is, you know, you have two ways to resolve drainage problems, or two possible ways of many. One is open it up and let it go, which was that first solution you talked about. What we're doing is holding it back so that it won't flood you out when it's pouring out,
yeah,
and afterwards, and then slowly let it back in the system.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Okay, next. Anybody else? Again, name and city or town of residence, and if you could speak to the chair.
Thomas Grimo, 9 Brightwood Ave. Just a few things that I'm concerned about. When the water gets flooded in that area, which it does now, okay, catch basins are full, I can't flush my toilets. I talked to Bob Moylan about it. It takes 2 to 3 hours before it goes into Broadmeadow Brook. What is going to happen in this situation?
Okay.
Do you
want to respond?
I do. This the control of Mr. Grimo's facilities in his house is independent of what we're talking about here. This is addressing a stormwater system. That's what this is addressing, a stormwater issue. It's not addressing a sanitary sewer issue, which is the problem that Mr. Grimo has. And the reason that he has a problem is because at our suggestion, he put on a backwater valve, which protects his property from surcharging of the sanitary system. What we're talking about here is the storm system. The sanitary system is a matter unto itself. It's a different issue. It's a different problem.
If the street did not get flooded, I have my sewer system. So how is it a different situation?
Chairman, Madam Chairman, Chairwoman, again, it's two different systems. It's two different systems. When it rains, the rain through groundwater can't affect the sanitary system.
Right.
What we're talking about here is surface water flooding that would affect the properties that were there. And the properties that were there would very frequently, even in a one-year storm event, be flooded out because of surface water, not about sanitary system, sanitary issues. I understand what he faces, and we've talked about it. But again, it's an issue of the sanitary system that has a different solution. It's independent of this.
Then what solution will we have for that? I can't even go to the bathroom for 2 or 3 hours.
Excuse me for 1 second. We have to take a step back. We have to talk about what's here right now. And if we want to do a report on the sanitary system, we can do that.
Madam Chair, I would be glad to do a report, and you're absolutely right. The issue at hand is this issue. Mr. Grimo and I have had discussions about his issue, and I'd be glad to continue those discussions with him about the sanitary issues that affect his property and perhaps some other properties up there.
So I'd like to do a chairman's order to have a report on that particular issue solely, and with the varied solutions.
Okay, with this issue now, you're going to put bushes, right? My property abuts First Street. I'm right there, okay? It's a dirt road, okay? Now, the dirt road is plowed. The city plows it, okay? They're not going to pave it or nothing. They're not going to pave that road. It's going to leave it the way it is.
That's not part of this.
That's not part of it.
No.
Okay, another part, what about the property tax? What about the valuation of my property? Is that another issue too?
That should not impact it at all?
It shouldn't impact it at all. When someone goes to buy the house, they'll see the bushes and they'll ask me what it is, and I got to disclose what it is.
Sure.
To the real estate agent.
Of course.
Right. I got one more issue. When you plow the street, I've been there 43 years. You plow on the street, I talked to you, I talked to Matt on it. They put the dirt up onto my property. My property, I got 3 feet on my property line. And when they've been plowing it in the last 4 or 5 years, it's getting worse. I get 3 feet of dirt that I can't even cut my bushes on that side because I can't walk on there. Now, I asked you and I asked Matt and Mr. Moylan before, can't you just level that out for me?
Yeah, and I think, George, we've talked about a commissioner. I have asked you as well. And if there's something that can be done when we're doing construction of this, that would be helpful if that's something that we could do. If not, then we have to try to... I was there. I saw it's a mound of dirt that's
It's
about...
3 feet high.
Yeah, it's about this high.
And it got all the
Right.
things growing from it, and I tried to trim it, but I can't even get to my bushes. I got 100 feet of bushes on that side.
Right. Counselor, do you want to...
I'd like to hear a response from Mr. Labovites or whoever.
Well, he did go this week, correct? Last week? Mr. Labovites?
Yes. Yes, Madam Chair, through you. I did visit the site. I did meet with Mr. Grimo on site to look at the issue. It's difficult to tell based on the vegetation that was there, the heavy vegetation that I saw, whether the piles are the result of decades and decades of snow plowing, which is not unusual on private streets that get chewed up every year. This was a particularly tough winter, as everybody knows. I want to remind the Chair this is unrelated to the drainage issue. But I would say we can certainly look at whether we can assist Mr. Grimo, but doing this type of private street improvement in this circumstance, and that's basically what we're talking about is a private street improvement. As you know, we're extremely reluctant to do, even in times of public safety concerns. We were talking about private street conversion earlier in the meeting, where there's a serious issue with regards to access, emergency vehicles, and a lot of other issues, serious issues having to do with private street access and traffic and public safety. This doesn't fall under that
Then
category.
let's do this. Let's do a chairman's order to address that issue separately, since that isn't part of this. I want to keep everything fair and moving forward. So we will do that. Councilor?
Madam Chairman, if I may, when I've been in that neighborhood during heavy rains, I see the sewer caps, if you will, up in the air like a magic trick. And I'm just asking.
Did you see that this weekend?
I wasn't there this weekend, but I've been there during other heavy storms. And my question, through you, Madam Chairman, to Mr. Moylan is this going to cure that?
Councilor, again, let's go back to what we tried to solve here. It started with the 07 storm in October, where there was both sanitary and storm flooding. And then subsequent to that, while I won't name all the storms, there were various storm events, some long, some short duration, which caused both the property owners from whom we took the properties, Viteris and Foy, to have their homes flooded in many cases with several feet of water. And so what we did was looked at how do we solve this drainage problem. Now, the drainage problem is complicated, and it's complicated because part of the issue is Broadmeadow Brook. And part of that issue is the siltation and sedimentation of Broadmeadow Brook. And so we looked at what is feasible. We could give a recommendation that would take probably 25 years to get permitted, approved, and completed. This is a recommendation that was going to offer the same level of safety, safeguards, to protect this area from street flooding during certain storm events. Not all storm events, probably no storm event beyond 10-year event. But for anything less than a 10-year event, we believe that this solution will offer protection from, for that neighborhood.
So, through you, Madam Chairman, again, just to be clear, so it should help, but maybe not cure it altogether. With the overflows of the sewer.
Make no, there should be no question. It will not cure because every system has a finite capacity. So you tell me the storm that you're talking about, and I'll tell you whether or not we can solve, whether it will handle that storm. What I'm saying is our analysis indicated that we can probably accommodate up to a 10-year event with this solution, which is light years beyond what they had before.
Okay.
But basically, to me, you're saying these are two separate issues from the sewer, but like you say, them do pop.
They do.
In the meantime, back in 07, I had 4.5 feet of sewer water in my whole basement downstairs. But it's not relevant to this here.
No, they're two different, totally different issues, right? One is sewer, and this is stormwater.
Right, but Madam Chairman, to be honest, I mean, I think we all know that the sewerage system is taxed dramatically because of the rainwater. So that's basically
Sure, and when you're seeing manholes pop, they're surface manholes. They're the manholes that are causing that problem. They aren't the sanitary manholes. What is happening in some other storm events is the sanitary system is surcharging, but not necessarily popping those manholes. But because it's surcharged, there's pressure in the line, and Mr. Grimo, for 2, 3, or 4 hours, whatever it takes, cannot use his facilities.
And just one more comment on that. One improvement we will be making, there's one location where all the pipes come together before it goes into this basin. You can see this manhole here.
Right.
We're planning to put in a larger pipe so that that manhole will be less likely to pop to get it into the flood storage area.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you very much. Yes, name.
Yes, I'm Donna Rose. I'm in Worcester also. I have just 3 things I'd like to say. First, I would like to thank the city for finally doing something to alleviate or help to alleviate the problem, because this has been a very significant recurring issue for many of the people that have lived there for a long time. And so we do appreciate what's being done. I don't know, it would be sort of nice if we had something that would capture maybe a little bit more rain than a 10-year event. I see it says 3.7 inches in 24 hours. I'm sure there are reasons why it can't be more, but you know, certainly if it could be a little bit deeper and hold a little more water, you know, that would be even better. Is that, I don't know if that's limited by cost or by geological issues?
Would
Yes.
you like to respond? Thank you.
Actually, the groundwater in this area is down about 7 or 8 feet. So we've gone as far down as we can to rest the
Okay.
system on the groundwater. It's not
Okay.
designed to infiltrate, it's designed to hold it and then get it back
Right,
in the
it's a
system.
delayed discharge
Yes.
at a slower rate, I understand. Okay, well, that's, at least I understand what the restrictions are, so that's helpful. I see that construction is starting in the fall of 2013, which is a wonderful thing, because it can't start too soon. We do have one concern. Several of us, there was some preliminary work done with destruction of the existing structures in the neighborhood, and also trying to break up the concrete in the street to access some valves, I think. It was done by a private contractor for the city. And some of the neighbors had some damage done to their homes because of the percussion on the rock. And, you know, plaster came down, cracks opened up in ceilings and walls. And we were told that the city's not responsible because it was a private contractor. I don't know if there's going to be blasting done on this or more of this sort of a very high impact sort of aspect to this project. But I guess just the one concern would be, are we going to be looking at more damage to the houses during this construction?
Would you like to respond to that? Thank
Sure.
you.
Yeah, we did some geotechnical investigations, a couple test pits on the property, digging holes to see what is under there. We found no rock. It was basically fill over some clay and then sandy silt. So that won't require blasting.
Okay, that's a good thing.
That's helpful.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else on this matter? Please come forward, state your name and city or town of residence.
Hi guys, my name is Matthew Maroney. I live on 41 Alston Ave. I more or less, I agree with the design, whatever. It's more or less the construction end. So I know it's fall 2013. What's the timeline going to be as far as overall construction that all the neighbors will have to kind of deal with?
Okay, well, this is a relatively quick project, and we expect it to be done in one season. So start basically in the fall, and there may be some remnants to be done, you know, in the last 3 to 6 months. But
Okay. And in reference to your hub point that you're going to put a larger pipe on Alston Ave, right there?
Yes.
Once that's completed, is that going to be a patch, or is that going to be where they kind of make the contractors pave a certain area to make sure it's fluent with the current road status?
Well, it's not a large area.
Do you want to answer that?
Through you, Madam Chair, we would anticipate that we would do curb-to-curb paving, if that's what you're referring to.
Yes. Yeah. And one more question. I know this is really preliminary with the wildflowers. It's very vague, and I know you're going to have details on further going when the project's there. I guess the concern is, I understand you're doing more or less low maintenance. That's fine. That's your prerogative. But as far as height goes, I know there's a lot of younger kids in the neighborhood, older kids in the neighborhood. We just don't want it to turn into something where people are throwing trash in there, kids are getting lost in there, you know, stuff like that.
So we'll keep that in mind as we choose the exact species in the end.
Sure. Excellent. Thank you, guys.
Noted. Thank you.
Thank you. And that is a very good point, too. And we also don't want it to be someplace where kids who are doing things that they probably shouldn't be doing. We all were kids once, so that they could go and hide in there. So I'm sure that will be addressed. Okay. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you very much for your report, and I'm looking forward to seeing this come to a final result, and I'm sure the neighbors are too. Thank you. I appreciate it. No, I don't. No, that was informational. All right. Thank you. Okay, so.
I already updated.
Yep. Okay. We've got street resurfacing petitions. 4A, Councilor Tony Economo requests resurfacing of Hastings Road. It's my understanding that's already on the list, so we'll leave to withdraw. All those in favor, opposed, so voted. Leonard Pesevich Pasevich, Jr. requests street resurfacing on Winfield Street from Park Ave to Dewey Street. Is he here? Oh, hi. It's my understanding that that's already in contract. It'll be done this year. It's going to be done this year. Isn't that wonderful? You can go home happy. That's right. All right. Thank you. Have a great day, and thanks for putting up with us. Thank you. All right, so we're going to leave to withdraw. All those in favor, opposed, so voted. Councilor Russell, Councilor Rivera, and Mayor Petty request College Street from Southbridge Street to the Auburn Town line be repaved. It's on the list. Thank you, Councilor Russell. We're going to leave to withdraw. All those in favor, opposed, so voted. Sidewalk.
Madam Chairman?
Yes, sir.
If I can ask, when do you think it'll be done, just so the folks on college?
You have to select
What's
it.
on the list for selection?
Right.
It's not.
Okay.
You have to choose it for the next.
Okay, but it was already on the list?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So then we have sidewalk repair petitions. 5A, Councilor Tony Economo requests sidewalk resurfacing for Hastings Road from Burncoat Street to Button Street on the school side. We're going to add that. All those in favor, opposed, so voted. 5B, Councilor Economo requests sidewalk repair in front of 26 Escadilla Road. Is anybody here on that? Hearing none. All those, we're going to add that to the list. All those in favor, opposed, so voted. Then we have Mr. Pasevich again. Is that the same thing? Yeah. Oh, all right, that's the sidewalk, and that's, okay, all right, so that's leave to withdraw. All those in favor, opposed, so voted. Councilor Economo, on behalf of Carol Erickson, requests sidewalk repair on both sides of Hartford Road. Anyone here on that? Leave to withdraw. All those in favor, opposed, so voted. Councilor Economo, on behalf of Phyllis Patrick, you here on that issue? Okay. Is there something that you'd like to say about it? Please come up and speak to the microphone. Name and city or town of residence.
My name is Phyllis Patrick. I live at 31 Vassar Street. There was work done on the street, and the sidewalks were torn up, and the reseeding and the resurfacing of the sidewalk wasn't done very well, and so I would like that to be fixed. But given that, they're actually redoing our road right now, and I believe that it may be that the sidewalks will be redone as part of that plan.
Commissioner or gentlemen, do you have any idea about that? Is that going to be dealt with while we're doing construction?
If we're in the process of doing the street now.
The gas lines are going in.
This is Bassett. Is that something that we can address now while we've got?
I believe Bassett. My recommendation would be we add this. I believe, though, that Vassar is on the list, but it's not funded for this year. It's possible for next year.
Okay, but you're saying there's construction occurring now.
That's gas main.
That's gas main,
Right.
and that's a separate contract issue.
Okay, so the sidewalks are a different year, but they will be done, it will be done at another...
Commissioner?
It'll be done when the street's resurfaced.
What we're assuming here is, first of all, the safe thing would be to add, but there is an assumption being made here that we can confirm tomorrow that Vassar could already be in the 2014 to 2016 program.
Okay.
So that's an if. If it is in the 2014 to 2016 program, and we happen to miss this, as we had the one above it, I caught the one above it, but if we missed Vassar, then, and if it is in the program, then sidewalks will be done when the street is resurfaced.
So sidewalks will be done when the street is resurfaced. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. So you have a motion to add? All those in favor, opposed, so voted. Thank you. 5F, Councilor Economo, on behalf of Robert Sorrenti, requests sidewalk repair the entire length in front of 11 Otsego Road. Is he here on that issue? Seeing none, we have, I think we're going to add that as well. All those in favor, opposed, so voted. Councilor Lukes, 5G, requests repair of driveway entrance to public parking lot adjacent to 187 Shrewsbury Street. It's my understanding that that's already been done.
Yes.
So we're going to leave to withdraw. Yep,
So
thank you. Thank you. All those in favor, so voted. And we have 5H, Doug Quattrochi, requests sidewalk repair in front of 7 Maple Tree Lane.
Yep.
Hi, Doug.
Hi.
How are you?
Are you inclined to add it to the list, or should I present some information to you?
Well, Matt?
If I can, Madam Chairman, we're asking for this to be approved, not added. We will get this done this year. This is something that should have been done before that got missed.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much. Would you like this nice color
Sure,
picture?
why don't we just add that to
All
the,
right.
to the record, because you did a nice job.
Thank you, sir. Okay.
But
Thank you very much.
that's great.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you very much. So we're going to, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, all those in favor, opposed, so voted. Raphael Leon Jr. requests sidewalk repair in front of 54th Street. Hi.
Yes, my name
Thank
is
you for being
Raphael
so
Leon.
patient.
Yes, no, last but not least. Yeah, I'm requesting it because it's a public safety hazard there,
Yep.
you know, I mean, what I'm talking about, there's nothing there now. I mean, I filled it up with some dirt and some stone because my tenants happen to land right there. And can't be shoveled in the winter. It's all ice, you know, so it becomes a hazard, so.
I can
it's
see
really-
that. Yeah, it definitely needs it, so we'll
Yeah.
have a motion to add that to the list.
When do you think it'll actually be done, though?
Well,
Mr. Chair-
this is
Madam
something that he would be best to talk to his district council to make sure it gets picked.
Chair? And that his counselor is?
Palmieri. Councilor Palmieri.
Councilor Palmieri.
Yeah.
Mary.
We can also let him know that this is, we're adding it.
Make
and-
it a priority.
Right.
All right.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks for waiting. Appreciate it. All right, so we're going to add that. All those in favor, opposed, so voted. Then we have communication of the city manager, transmitting informational communication relative to the recent Supreme Judicial Court decision involving 2 city sewer backup cases, which was in council. Want to file that? All those opposed, so voted. Transmitting informational communication relative to the abandoned vehicle removal program 10-year anniversary. I think that you deserve a lot of applause for the incredible work that you've done. I think we mentioned last evening how many 1,000 pounds of trash and things that were taken away. Do you know how many, in that report, we have how many, for the 10-year period, or?
Thank goodness for the cost of scrap metal.
I know. Yeah, really.
Well, before we took over this program, this was costing us it was costing the city $25,000 a year. And if you remember, this was one of Mayor Murray at the time, or Councilor Murray's pet peeves, and we had thousands of cars on city streets. And
I remember. It was a real
and
issue.
then we worked out an arrangement with where we took it over, and we worked out an arrangement with the Registry of Motor Vehicles that helps us enormously here, because it's not just the scrap metal value of the car. Up until that time, when back in the old days, we had to pay to have the car towed. Now they give us about $100 and some odd per vehicle. But in addition, we tag the registration, if you will. We mark it. And so the last owner of that registration, if they try to register another car or renew their license in Massachusetts, has to pay the $500 penalty to be able to register a car. So unless they choose to change their name or move to another state,
Right.
they can't register a car in Massachusetts or renew their license.
That's actually, it's a win for us. We don't have to pay, and it's a win-win for the registry because they get some extra money too. So, all right, that's great. Well, congratulations. Our city is really much cleaner because of that. Thank
Why
you.
does the registry get the money?
No, the registry, we get it.
Oh, we get the extra?
The registry will hold the ticket, hold their license,
You're right, right.
or hold their registration until we tell them to release it.
Okay.
And we don't release it until they make the $500 payment, which is the penalty now,
Right.
for an illegally disposed, an illegal car.
Is that our
abandoned
penalty
car.
or the registry?
That's our penalty. Our
okay.
penalty.
All right,
So it
great.
comes to us.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. All right, so we're going to file that. All those opposed, so voted. Transmitting informational communication relative to the Chandler Street water main break for November 12th, 2012, which was an absolutely incredible event. And I have to say that I was there at 2 in the morning watching the folks repairing them. And it was just amazing how quickly that our folks from the DPW, you guys and gals, did a phenomenal job. And much quicker than Boston did with their break. And, you know, again, it speaks to the incredible work of the men and women of the department. So thank you again. Councilor, did you have any questions on that?
No, thank you.
Okay. All right, so motion to file on that?
Yes, please.
All right, all those in favor, opposed, so voted. And then we're going to go to transmitting informational communication relative to City Hall sidewalk renovations, the updated schedule for Front Street, Main, and Franklin Street, which was in council. Does anybody have any questions on that?
When's this all going to be done, Madam Chairman?
I would ask the commissioner. It's what's the
It's going to be
estimated,
done at the, probably in the fall.
in the fall, October or
This year,
November?
yes.
Or?
October.
Okay, great.
But then there will be some other sidewalk work going on here
Is that going to
downtown.
be phase 3? Or is it
No,
gonna be
there's other sidewalk work that will be going on along Franklin and Front Street,
Okay.
and also along the back of the Common,
Right, okay.
separate from this
Separate,
project.
but that's a different project, yeah. Okay. Motion to file. All those in favor, opposed, so voted. 6E, transmitting informational communication relative to Keep Worcester Clean activity report for the month of January. And again, incredible kudos for that month. February and year-to-date for totals of 2013, and we had 307 sites that you dealt with for the month, 20 tons of trash, and the year-to-date was 651 sites and 43 tons of trash. Wow. That's and 520 nuisance ordinance work orders were done year-to-date as well. That's incredible.
Motion to file?
Yep. All right, all those in favor, opposed, so voted. And now we get to a presentation that I've been waiting for on Walk Bike Worcester. Would you like to come forward? And thank you. And I actually spoke about the importance of having a walkable city last night. Yep. At council, our current ranking, from what I understand, is 60. It'd be nice to be 80, 85 for walkability and bikeability.
Thank you.
If you could just state your name and
Sure.
the official.
I actually have something to read, so I won't forget to say what I'm going to say.
I have to do that now, too. Once I hit 55, that was it.
Actually, a little bit of a problem, though. We thought we had made arrangements for a presentation, and all we have here is a screen, and what we have is a PowerPoint presentation.
Oh.
So we don't have the equipment to do the presentation. I think we can...
We're going to be descriptive.
Yeah.
I apologize. I'll take responsibility for that. I thought in our conversation that all I was asked for was for a screen. I'm sorry, Jerry.
That's okay. No problem. All right.
We can email it to us, too, so that we can see it after.
True, true. I'm Jerry Powers, a resident of Columbus Park, and with Karen Valentine Goins, also of Worcester, we're co-chairs of Walk Bike Worcester. Our purpose in being here tonight is to let you know about Walk Bike Worcester, our efforts and goals to make a very brief presentation on the concept of complete streets. It's going to be even briefer. With a couple of examples of how the principles of complete streets could be incorporated here in Worcester. Most importantly, we would like to set the stage for our goal of having this subcommittee host the workshop that MassDOT offers on complete streets, and that many in the staff have already expressed an interest in attending. Thank you for inviting us tonight, and yes, Karen.
I want to knock that over. So So like Jerry said, we did intend to make this a little more of a visual experience, but we'll just describe. So the chair had invited us here to describe a little bit about what we do, who we are and what we do, and then talk a little bit about the Complete Streets concept. We've actually met with Councilor Russell as well as some others. So in terms of what Walk Bike Worcester is, it's a work group of the Worcester Food and Active Living Policy Council, which is an outgrowth of something that then Mayor Murray had started, then a Food Policy Council, which has a wide range of organizational members: health, social services, social justice, conservation, youth. And in terms of Walk Bike, we operate, as I said, as a work group of that. And we have an informal membership system. We have residents. We have representation from the Central Mass Regional Planning, from the Division of Public Health of the city, MassDOT, and other groups. We have a Facebook page with over 80 groups or people that have liked it.
And what's the title on your Facebook page?
It is Walk Bike Worcester. Okay. But look for the page and not the profile.
Right.
And we have a wide range of relationships with city agencies, elected officials, including city council, as well as the state delegation, and transportation agencies, MassDOT, CMRPC, statewide advocacy groups, Walk Boston, Mass Bike, and a wide range of community groups. So in terms of what we're doing these days, we falls into a couple categories. We do attend public hearings. You see us here. I think people sometimes look at us and go, oh, they're here to talk about walking and biking. Providing written comments and recruiting others of members of the public to participate on designs, project designs, policies like the streetscape policy, plans like climate action plan. And now we've even gotten, we've been on one road safety audit. We're going to another one next week for Lincoln Street. We did the Belmont Street one. Talking to City Council about the complete streets, walking and biking issues, increasing our own technical knowledge. We're not engineers. Jerry was a different kind of engineer. I have come from a public health background, but there's a lot of ways to increase our own knowledge. Through trainings, speakers at our meetings, and really boosting public awareness and participation, because communities across the U.S. are finding out that that is really important to getting more walkable and bikeable communities. So our focus right now is really getting, we're very focused on getting a complete streets policy in Worcester. There's a lot that the Public Works Department does, and the designs that are the projects that are funded through federal funding, that there are pieces around, but it's important, we think, to actually have a city policy. Because how many people will say to you, you can't walk or bike in Worcester? Well, I do, Jerry does, perhaps you all do, but one of the ways to change that is by having a policy that says that all users are going to be considered in road and intersection designs. The National Complete Streets Coalition keeps track of how many groups or municipalities have passed these, and as of today, they list almost 500 regional and local jurisdictions. 28 states, Puerto Rico and District of Columbia, have all passed complete streets policies or made a written commitment to do so. In terms of state support, MassDOT's Project Design and Development Guide is considered a complete streets manual, although it was produced before that term came into common use. Different city policies, it shows complete streets is showing up in the Community Health Improvement Plan. It likely will be in the Climate Action Plan. The Streetscape policy makes a reference to it as kind of a precursor to it. The workshop that Jerry referenced, we're in touch with the contractor, the consultant that provides those for Mass DOT. They have additional funding. They first did these workshops about a year and a half ago, and we had actually sponsored one at Union Station we had invited officials, but we got advocates as well as Central Mass Regional Planning staff. They are willing to come and do a presentation, and we had talked with Councilor Toomey about do a presentation for hopefully or possibly a joint special meeting between Public Works and Traffic and Parking. There's a lot of staff, as Jerry said, who are very interested, city department staff.
Perhaps even Public Health Committee.
Yeah, I mean, as many as can. It is a long workshop. It's 3 hours, but through the Division of Public Health's Mass in Motion grant, we can provide refreshments. We can make it
do I need to do a chairman's order to have that meeting, Mr. Clerk? To establish that, set that up.
I don't think that's necessary, Madam Chair. We can make that arrangement at the convenience of both committees after the two chairs speak.
Okay.
And I wanted to mention, I was thinking if the walk bike folks, Jerry and Karen, have this presentation that was supposed to be this evening in a electronic format, I'd be happy to take it, and we can add it to the record of this committee, so it'll be posted to this website.
And it's accessible by people, too.
Good. I will send the file to you.
That would be
'cause I have
great.
it on
Thank
my
you again.
laptop.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
we'll
Mr.
skip
Clerk.
the visuals.
Sorry, go ahead.
So, well, just to finish up that workshop, although 3 hours sounds kind of intimidating, I mean, they go through, you know, a lot of the benefits and also the concepts in terms of what's covered, you know, design width, lane speeds, or design speed, get it back, lane widths, intersections, and different pedestrian facilities. So it's very comprehensive. So, and what's in the presentation that I will send is it's great to see presentations that include nifty places in California and Florida, but it's really great to see what in our city already could be considered more complete or less complete. So there are some photos, as well as Central Mass Regional Planning Commission helped us with some visualizations of 2 areas, really looking at this is what the street looks like now. These are some things you could change that would make it narrower, slow it down, make it safer for pedestrians, and accommodate bicyclists. The 2 locations are Lincoln Street at Hahnemann Hospital, and then also Major Taylor at Thomas Street. So those will both, as you go through the slides, it adds those elements. So, but that would be great to be able to set up that workshop. They're going to be, as of the fall, advertising them openly, but at this point, they're still willing to set it up for one group.
Well, at that, I know especially the Lincoln Street Business Association is very involved in trying to make sure that safety for pedestrians is paramount for them. That's a major focus for them. So we'll make sure that all of the groups that are in that area are involved as well. So I know that's a huge issue because this is being done. Lincoln Street's being done by the state this year.
Yeah, well, the example is actually before that.
Oh, I know, but they're also, I'm just telling you, they're currently very concerned about pedestrian safety too. So it would be good
I mean,
for them.
certainly it could be, it's approximately 30 that the workshop holds, and so if we get commitments first from city and then could open it up. And then we could also sponsor one larger for community, a separate one for community members.
Okay, great.
Right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Do you have any questions, Councilor?
Oh, Madam Chairman, I'd just like to say thank you to Bike Worcester for coming in and for your advocacy for trying to make Worcester a better place to live. Thank you.
And I just want to make sure we're all set. Mr. Clerk, are you going to contact them to set that joint meeting up? Okay, that would be great. And we will have audio-visual equipment, right? Much better effort? Okay, great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to seeing that presentation on a public record. Ms. Hart, thank you.
Joe Hart Worcester, this is not against Walk Bike Worcester, and this is not against Karen. I know Karen. This is just simply a problem that is, of course, much, much deeper. And again, I'm talking about things like bicycles on sidewalks, which the city has done nothing about.
Oh, that's not
I'm
legal.
talking about pedestrian safety.
Right. What I'm saying is that bikes on sidewalks are not legal, so, I mean...
I know, but Worcester does nothing about it.
Oh.
And, of course, it's right in front of City Hall.
We can't do it. That's a public safety issue, Joe.
It is a walk-bike situation. These are not destination bikers. These are kids playing around hoping to hit somebody because they aim for you most of the time.
Well,
all I mean is that this is a very dangerous issue and nobody's taking any notice whatsoever.
Oh, I think, what areas of the city do you see this happening in?
All over.
Okay,
But it's, of course, mainly downtown.
Okay.
Mainly downtown and Main South. Cops do nothing.
Well,
you can see millions and millions of kids running around on bicycles. Cops will just drive right by.
I think that the Councilor Russell and I would be very happy to file an order to ask that at the police at the council meeting, and if the clerk would take this, would file an order to request police enforcement of bikes
Well, again, though, the city has never acknowledged it. I made 4 different petitions to city council about bicycles.
Okay, Joe, we just said
That
we're
went
going to
nowhere.
file, we're going to file that, and we're going to ask them to do that and have a special focus. We've got a footbeat out now. They're going to be out on the street instead of, so we're going to have them look at that, okay?
So you'll retrieve my petitions and do something with them then?
We were going to file another order. Counselor and I are going to
Madam
file
Chairman,
an order.
I will join you on that item,
Yeah.
and I have to just remind Ms. Hart, you know, many times she comes in with excellent suggestions and excellent observations that sometimes other folks look past, and I thank her for her effort and her caring about the city.
Well, don't
to
forget,
make
within
that.
2
Let me-
years, I
let
have been
me-
hit
let
by
me- let me
a
finish.
bicycle and a car.
Excuse me,
Let
Ms.
me
Hart,
finish,
he
Ms.
needs
Hart.
to speak.
But
And then
under
you
our
can speak.
charter, the manager and his staff under him are the ones that are implementing, that are basically implementing the police department and their public safety issues, and some of the comments and advocacy might be directed in that way, because as councilors, all we are allowed to do is make suggestions, and I just want you to know that I'd be happy to continue to make that suggestion on your behalf, but I think that the police department is taxed, as is most of the departments, and they do the best that they can, but I think that any negative remarks you make might not want to be directed at myself or my colleagues for not trying.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, the process is wrong because I have made petitions.
All right, so we are going to file that request, and hopefully if they see the kids out, they'll address that. Okay?
Well,
thank you.
A backlog to this also is that the police department is not informed.
Okay,
At one
you know
point,
what? Actually, this is a whole nother issue that's not on our agenda, Joe, so.
Well, I'm speaking to one that was on the agenda.
Well, on the bike, and we addressed that. We said that we would file the order, so.
Well, it's walk bike.
I understand that, but that's a safety issue. We filed the order. We're going to ask for police enforcement, and that's all we can do right now. We're moving forward.
Well, that's not enough. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Sorry we can't make you happy.
Motion adjourned?
Absolutely. All those in favor, opposed, so voted. Thank you.